Florida A&M University gearing up to formally present its new head football coach, Willie Simmons.
Making now both the university head football coaches in Tallahassee named Willie.
What a coincidence.
Good name. Willie Taggart at Florida State, Willie Simmons at FAMU. The latter, Simmons, he's a local guy graduating from Quincy Shanks. Comes all the way from Texas for Review A&M University, where he spent the last 3 seasons as head football coach there with a record of 21-11. He'll serve as FAMU's 18th head football coach. Now, this morning, the university will hold a press conference starting at 11 at the Al Lawson Center for the official announcement. Of course, we'll be there, so stick with us throughout the day on air and online.
Gadsden County commissioners met with members in the community to go over plans for the site of a historic school in Quincy, which burned down earlier this year. A local committee wants to breathe new life into the location and turn the site into a multi-use facility. Commissioner Sherry Taylor says the county has just about $500,000 in insurance funds to make this vision a reality. The committee has come up with 4 types of services to house at the facility: a substation for Quincy Police, a satellite location for healthcare, a business incubator, and an education training site for children. Taylor says these resources are needed in the community.
It's extremely important. I mean, I am a product of that school as well as my family members, my community, my friends, my church members. A lot of people from the community have gone to Stevens School. A lot of great leaders have come out of that school and have done extremely well here. So it's very important that we go back, rebuild it, and again, provide services that's needed now.
Taylor says the goal is to get the project started within 6 to 8 months. More meetings are planned to keep the community in the know. Florida is the place where many senior citizens come to retire. And at today's Leon County Commission meeting, one local group is looking to grow that effort for the sake of Leon County's economy. WTXL's Jada Williams is live at the Leon County Courthouse this morning.
Good morning, Christine. Choose Tallahassee is approaching the Leon County Commissioners at their meeting today to ask for funding to help grow their organization. The $10,000 request would fund efforts to increase marketing for Choose Tallahassee. The organization began about 5 years ago as a way to attract those about to retire to come retire here in Tallahassee. And while most think of the capital city as a college town, Choose Tallahassee believes the same things that attract millennials can also attract the baby boomers.
Tallahassee has everything going for it. We've got 4 seasons. We've got, in the state, there's no state income taxes, versus other parts of the state, our real estate and property taxes are lower than other parts of the state, and our traffic's better than other parts of the state. We're also like a university town. An advantage is having FAMU, FSU, and TCC.
Patterson also said that the retirement community is known for having free time and money to spend in the local economy. Thus, having more people retire here in Tallahassee would boost the local economy. And stick around, we'll hear exactly how the commissioners can help the organization and where that money would come from if the Leon County Commissioners approved it. Live in Tallahassee, Jada Williams, WTXL, ABC 27.
Jumping now at 6:05, Thomasville City Council members are calling for the city manager, Steve Sykes, to resign. At last night's council meeting, council members voted unanimously to offer Sykes, who serves as the city manager and utility superintendent, a severance package contingent upon his resignation. Kay Thomas, the senior assistant city manager, has been named interim city manager. That's effective January 1st. And staying right there in South Georgia, Valdosta will soon see new full-time jobs. It's all thanks to American Drill Bushing's newest expansion. ADB, the world's largest manufacturer of hoist rings, is expanding its plant in Valdosta to add additional product lines. The Valdosta plant will be adding 36,000 square feet of space during this expansion. Once completed, the ADB's facility will total 71,200 square feet. The expansion will also bring with it 35 new full-time jobs and a $4 million capital investment during the period of expansion.
This morning, Thomas County investigators are searching for a fifth suspect involved in a string of recent armed robberies. Investigators have not yet named that suspect, but say they were made aware of his involvement during interviews Monday morning. Thomas County deputies responded to an armed robbery at Pavo's Dollar General last Friday night. Investigators arrested 4 people in connection to that robbery. You see 3 here: Isaiah Thomas, Raphael Merritt, Dontavius Jenkins, and an unnamed juvenile. Investigators believe those suspects were also involved in recent robberies at the Circle K in Thomasville, Dollar General in Coolidge, and Dollar General in Moultrie.
We were concerned if someone startled them, someone did not comply with them, they would be the victims inside the store could have been shot, and that was our biggest concern because these weapons were loaded.
During most of the robberies, investigators say the suspects went into the office of the building, unplugged the surveillance camera system. The 4 suspects are charged with armed robbery, kidnapping, and aggravated assault.
Happening now at 6:07, 3 men are facing drug trafficking charges after Leon County deputies say they found more than 15 grams of meth and drug paraphernalia. Deputies say Anthony Allen and his 2 passengers, Stephen Goodman and Thomas Harper, were pulled over Saturday night on Thomasville Road. Court documents show the 3 were coming from Georgia after picking up those drugs. Now, during the arrests, deputies say they even had to tase Goodman, who tried to run off. All 3 are currently in the Leon County Jail with bonds of more than $10,000. And happening today, the man arrested back in July for his involvement in a shooting that hurt a 17-month-old baby will be in a Leon County courtroom this morning. Police arrested Rodell Tyson back in July for that shooting at the Sunrise Place Apartments. He faces a number of charges, including 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Tyson is set to be in that Leon County courtroom this morning at 9.
That holiday performance put on by those girls who are part of a local organization helping families for more than 40 years. The Lighthouse Children's Home is a resident for teenage girls who are at risk with discipline and at home or school with problems with the law. Last night, Lighthouse held its holiday program and fundraiser. A donation of $8,500 from Springtime Tallahassee was given to the organization. The money will be used towards its Adopt a Teen program. All right, a chilly start to the morning. Let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Alex Cordero.
That's right. Another one of those chilly temperature spreads with numbers in the 30s, a few spots in the 40s, and a few lucky enough to be in the 50s if you're a fan of some of that warmer air. Now, lower 60s are expected by the time we go home from whether it be school or work today, because of another cold front driving on through. I'm not expecting us to really have the opportunity to warm up significantly today, even though we'll have a good deal of sunshine. Now, visibility is starting off not too bad. However, it seems to be dropping, especially in the eastern part of the Big Bend. Maybe some lapse of visibility closer toward the Tallahassee airport. Yes, it's cold, but when you get colder during the morning, the humidity naturally tends to rise, and away from the cities, you could see some fog. Temperatures in Tallahassee are closing in on freezing, though. We're at 34 degrees in the capital city, and again 40s out toward the east. More 50s are shown out toward the west. Now we'll have another look at your full forecast in just minutes. For now, an update on the roadways.
Yeah, Alex, we're still tracking that crash in Live Oak. FHP has made it on scene. They got there about 5:52 this morning. Still appears that all lanes are open, so that is at least the good part. You will deal with some fog in that area, so just keep that in mind. This is County Road 49 at 104th Street in Live Oak. They were dispatched 5:22, got there 5:52, but once again, all lanes do appear to be open right now. All right, taking a closer look into South Georgia, where the fog has not made it, and hopefully it stays this way. And we were seeing some congestion along 319 that has since cleared, so that's some more good news. A check of Valdosta, some slight hangups for you in the downtown area, outskirts of town looking pretty good. And a similar situation in Tallahassee, 61 Blairstone Road and Capitol Circle Southeast, all green. That is a check of your traffic for right now. But traveling during the holidays may require you to bring your gifts with you, and there are a few things airlines want you to know before you pack those bags.
For example, certain batteries are on the Federal Aviation Administration Pack Safe list to raise awareness about hazardous materials. And the Federal Aviation Administration is banning lithium-ion batteries in all checked bags due to the risk of them catching fire. personal electronics such as cameras, computers, tablets, watches, and portable chargers may contain these batteries. If you're bringing electronic gifts, the device needs to be out of the bag with the battery removed. And remember, not to wrap any gifts you're traveling with.
That's a good one. Well, coming up.
Was an attempted terrorist attack.
A subway tunnel explosion sends 5 people to the hospital in New York City. A look at the suspect and why police say he wasn't on anyone's watch list. Stay with us. It's 6:11.
Alabama residents heading to the polls today in what is expected to be a close U.S. Senate race, and the nation will be watching. Republican Roy Moore faces off against Democrat Doug Jones in today's special election. Both men are vying to fill the seat that Jeff Sessions occupied before he left to become U.S. Attorney General. The race has put a spotlight on Moore. The 70-year-old has faced multiple sexual allegations, including accusations that he molested a 14-year-old and sexually assaulted a 16-year-old. Moore has denied any inappropriate behavior.
And with sexual harassment allegations stirring nationally, 3 of President Donald Trump's accusers came together yesterday saying he too should be held accountable. At least 15 women have come forward with accusations ranging from sexual harassment and misconduct to sexual assault, including unwanted kissing and groping. At a news conference in New York City yesterday, a few of the women called for a congressional investigation.
Some things, in fact, do transcend politics, that we will hold Mr. Trump to the same standard as Harvey Weinstein and the other men who were held accountable for their reprehensible behavior.
And the White House says the women's claims are false and stressed that the president has repeatedly denied any allegations of sexual misconduct or harassment. Several Democratic senators are now calling for the president to resign over those allegations.
5 people were hurt in what authorities are calling an attempted terrorist attack yesterday morning in New York City. Officials say 27-year-old Akayat Allah intentionally detonated a homemade pipe bomb that was strapped to his body using Velcro and zip ties. He is being treated for lacerations and burns to his hands and stomach. A law enforcement source says Allah told investigators that he was motivated by recent Israeli actions in Gaza. Officials say he is a former taxi driver of Bangladeshi descent who lives in Brooklyn.
The Pentagon is allowing transgender people to enlist in the military beginning January 1st. Despite President Donald Trump's opposition, the new policy reflects growing legal pressure on the issue. Potential transgender recruits will have to overcome a lengthy and strict set of physical, medical, and mental conditions that make it possible for them to join the armed services. All right, 6:16, it's cold. But not as cold as yesterday, right?
Yeah, not as cold, but you nailed it, Malcolm. It's cold outside. It's also clear, which is allowing some of these temperatures to cool off considerably. Some fog developing across areas of the Big Bend in South Georgia, and some areas cooler than others. Now, so for the wheel of weather, this is what we have. Again, some low-level clouds indicated by the wheel of weather. Not expecting that to last very long. The sunlight expected to last through most of the morning and afternoon, with temperatures forecast to reach the lower 60s. But then a cool north breeze is likely going to make it cool off before we see the actual sunset, with temperatures expected to drop back well into the 30s widespread later on into tomorrow morning. Here's what we're seeing for temperatures so far. 34 degrees in Tallahassee, 37 in Thomasville, 34 degrees in Tallahassee, 42 degrees in Perry, 55 in Apalachicola. Numbers a little variable, but not seeing that widespread freeze that we saw yesterday. Titan radar is generally quiet, and then when you factor in the radar and satellite composite over the southeast, it's still somewhat quiet, but there is a weak front out there, hard to see. But once it passes, high pressure is going to bring in another clear and chilly air mass, and that's what's really allowing these temperatures to be forecast to drop back into the 30s. For the forecast and focus, notice rather quiet. That's high pressure. It really doesn't allow for the formation of much in terms of clouds. The thing is, over the next couple of days, we're going to see these swings, sometimes slightly warmer, sometimes slightly cooler, but nothing too hot. It's generally going to be below average. For the beach and boating outlook, a small craft advisory through tomorrow morning with a west-northwest wind up to 20 knots. Here is your 7-day outlook, and there you have it. Warmer on Tuesday, cooler on Wednesday. We'll have these swings with, again, generally cooler than average temperatures through next Monday.
New high-tech gadgets are being developed to protect bus and train stations in the wake of yesterday's subway attack in New York.
Here's the latest details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look. This is you and me.
Apple has bought Shazam, the maker of a song recognition app. That's Apple's digital assistant Siri has already been using to help people identify the music playing on their iPhones. The companies didn't disclose the price of the acquisition announced Monday, but some are reporting that Apple is paying about $400 million for Shazam. Apple issued a statement describing Shazam as a natural fit with its services. Siri began drawing upon Shazam's technology to answer questions about songs as part of a 2014 update to the iPhone's operating system. Airlines are making a ton of money off baggage fees, $1.2 billion to be exact. That's how much was collected from July to September. And according to the Department of Transportation, the fees are up about 10% from the same period last year. The news comes days after the DOT announced it was scrapping an Obama-era proposal that would have required airlines to disclose fees for checked and carry-on bags at the start of a ticket purchase. And Mattel is warning that holiday sales are suffering in part due to the struggles of some of its key brands and also by retailers tightening their inventories. The toy maker's brands include Barbie, Hot Wheels, and Fisher-Price. The company expects its gross sales for the year to decline as it deals with children's increasing move towards technology. Well, let's make a tech-savvy Barbie or something of that nature.
Maybe an app, right?
A Barbie app?
Yeah.
I think they have those.
Of course. Do they? Maybe.
I don't know. Let's look them
They
up.
definitely have a weather app for us, the First Alert weather app. Shout out to Malcolm for the connection he made yesterday. Made another one today. Temperatures reaching the lower 60s with mainly sunny skies expected today, but I think the highs will be achieved in the earlier afternoon around 1 o'clock, and then they'll start to cool off before sunset. And that's mainly due to a cold front that'll pass, and you may not even notice it until you feel the breeze out there. Tomorrow's highs only in the 50s, so if you're a fan of the cool weather, it's coming back, and it's going to come back with lows back in the 30s.
Alex, thank you. Also next at 6:30, the number of teens sending inappropriate pictures through social media continues to rise. Parents, the rural authorities say you can play in keeping them safe.
Plus, a former track star behind bars this morning facing several charges of animal cruelty. What led to the arrest? Next.
Tomorrow morning, numbers in the lower 30s. Sunrise continues now.
Now at 6:30, several inmates running off from jails across South Georgia this weekend, now sparking new concerns if current security measures are doing enough to keep us protected.
Plus, authorities in Madison County arrest a man accused of stealing a woman's vehicle after she refused to give him a ride.
And I'm Jada Williams, live at the Leon County Courthouse, where later today county commissioners will meet. And one of those topics up for discussion, senior citizens coming into the capital city.
Happening now, several inmates in South Georgia are back behind bars this morning after short-lived escapes. Thursday, Tyler Brook escaped from the Decatur County Jail with the help of his fiancée. Authorities say Brook, who was on work detail during the escape, ran off to have sex. Friday morning, Donald Davis, also on work detail, but this time in Coffee County, was able to escape. And just a day later, Lonnie McDaniel was able to walk off from the Miller County Jail. Law enforcement agencies in South Georgia say these incidents prove why it's so important to ensure that enforced security measures are in place to prevent inmates from escaping.
If an inmate leaves the facility, it creates several problems. You've got the escape risk, you have the contraband risk. So we're fortunate here that it's very seldom that an inmate leaves here, either court or a medical appointment only.
Those who help inmates escape are charged with aiding and abetting. Depending on a judge's sentence, an inmate can serve up to an additional 10 years for an escape.
Thomasville police say they are receiving an alarming number of calls this year related to teens and tweens exchanging illicit pictures via smartphones and messaging apps. Investigators say once a picture is sent to someone, they have no control over what happens to it. And in some cases, the kids can be identified through these pictures. Investigators are worried these images could end up in the hands of predators. They say it's a felony to distribute the material.
When the children or the youth are partaking in this activity, it gives them the ammunition they need to try to horn in on these kids. So we take this stuff serious because you never know what it's going to develop into or what it's going to escalate into.
Thomasville police are asking parents to pay attention to their child's online activities. They say do random checks of their social media accounts and text messaging.
Time now 6:32. We do want to warn you this next story is graphic. The former head of the Seminole Boosters is going back behind bars this morning. He is back behind bars this time for 5 more years after breaking his probation. John Reinhard was found guilty and sentenced last week for stealing more than $700 in groceries and electronics. He was behind bars earlier this year after forcing his girlfriend's 3-year-old to eat his feces as a punishment. Staying in Tallahassee, where a man accused of beating a dog remains in jail on 3rd-degree animal cruelty charges. 27-year-old Hubert Maxwell was booked into the Leon County Jail over the weekend. Reports show his former roommate called Tallahassee Animal Control on November 4th, claiming Maxwell picked up a male pit bull by the collar, choked it, and then slammed it on the floor. Maxwell is a former track and field star for the University of South Carolina.
To Madison County, where a man is accused of stealing a woman's vehicle. Deputies arrested 31-year-old Daniel Allen Good. A canine found him hiding under a brush pile Saturday. The stolen vehicle was found at Love's truck stop. Deputies say Good asked the victim to take him to his home in Leesburg, Florida, and when she refused, he took her car. The Tallahassee Police Department needs your help in locating a man. This man, TBD says, on December 5th. This picture taken from surveillance video shows him grabbing 2 iPhone 8s from the Verizon store on West Tennessee Street and left without paying for them. If you have any information on his whereabouts, contact TBD at 850-891-4200.
Time now 6:34. A Mayo family is homeless this morning after a weekend fire. Crews were called to the home in the 300 block of Northeast Wesley Street. This was on Saturday. Take a look at these pictures. It shows that home just destroyed. Only the chimney still stands among the rubble, and officials say it was that chimney where the fire started before spreading to the walls of a nearby bedroom.
Domi Station's new program, IO Avenue, is providing Code Academy training to Tallahassee residents in order to learn high-demand technology skills. The goal of the IO Avenue program is to bridge the gap between local tech companies looking for employees and skilled individuals in Tallahassee. The Office of the Mayor and Florida A&M University are co-founders. The program started after the Office of the Mayor conducted a study in Tallahassee that showed well-paying technology jobs were available for longer than normal. The program is a collaborative effort to make technology education accessible to everyone in the community.
There's over 40 software development companies right here in Tallahassee, which was major news to our class when we found that out. We had no idea that there was this huge tech community and huge presence.
IO Avenue offers 2 12-week programs. One is a beginner's course and the other is an advanced program. If you're a hard worker looking for an opportunity in the technology world in Tallahassee, the IO Avenue program is accepting applicants.
Finals week is in full swing in the capital city, and to help students distress from the constant studying, the Counseling Center's Reach Committee at Florida State came through with this stress buster event yesterday. Students enjoyed hot chocolate, puzzles, and prizes to take their minds off of exams for just a bit.
During finals week, students are typically very stressed out, obviously, and they may not be kind of sticking to healthy eating, sleeping, self-management schedules. So when we're here, we kind of provide opportunities to help students kind of rejuvenate and refresh their minds and their bodies, and so that they can focus more on finals.
Organizers say it's very important for students to relax, to keep from getting too overworked, keeping anxiety at a manageable level.
Fairview Middle School held a faculty concert on Monday. The goal to raise money for United Way of the Big Bend and Relay for Life. Faculty members performed different rock music for the students, and school officials say it was a great way to let off some steam before exams and Christmas break. School officials also add that this was their way of explaining charity to students and showing them giving to others can be a fun experience.
Yeah. Well, Leon County Commissioners meeting tonight. One item up for discussion, the push to make Tallahassee a retirement hub. Our Jada Williams live for us now from the Leon County Courthouse with a story on an organization working to make that happen. Jada, good morning.
Good morning, Malcolm. Choose Tallahassee is an organization that began about 5 years ago to inspire those about to retire throughout the entire nation to retire right here in Tallahassee. And today at the Leon County Commissioners meeting, they'll be asking for a little more funding to expand their organization. The proposal will come up at today's meeting that ask for $10,000 to put towards marketing. The executive director for Choose Tallahassee says that although more people would come into Tallahassee, it's important to remember that those moving wouldn't increase traffic too much, shouldn't bring about crime, and would of course spend a lot of money to boost the local economy. But where would the commissioners get that money to give to the group?
It's just a shift of directly where the funds are going. And how we're going to focus with Visit Tallahassee is we're going to have special weekends where there might be a discount at the hotels or some restaurants, and that's when we invite people to visit. And then we'll give them a tour like they will not get anywhere else.
The tours would include the many beautiful greeneries and parks in Tallahassee, events at FSU, and other local attractions that makes Tallahassee unique. And Patterson said that in the years that the organization has been going strong, they've made strides with attracting people from big cities and small cities across the country, and he can't wait to see what the future holds. Live in Tallahassee, Jada Williams, WTXL, ABC 27.
All right, here's a look at your first alert forecast for this Tuesday morning, starting off with temperatures in the lower 40s, a few spots even in the mid to upper 30s, including Tallahassee. That's one of the few spots that's even colder. By the afternoon, many of us in the upper 50s to lower 60s, a good deal of sunshine today. Now, visibilities are spotty, but most of us are seeing rather nice visibilities out there with US 84 pretty much on the clear side. US 90 not so much, particularly near Live Oak and Sewanee County, parts of eastern Madison County and Leon County, though I believe the visibility seem to be the harshest, closest to the airport away from downtown. So just take it easy out on the roads. Of course, Malcolm will have more details in just a moment. Active temperatures generally in the lower 40s, 41 in Thomasville, 41 in Valdosta. Notice the forecast in focus before 1 o'clock. Already expecting this northwest wind to kick in, and that's really going to help usher in some chilly temperatures for tonight. Malcolm?
Looking pretty good out there. We were tracking crashes earlier this morning. Those have since cleared. So smooth sailing in terms of on the crash aspect. Now, of course, visibility will be a concern for you with the fog out there. Looks like it has creeped into Tallahassee. So we will take a look at that shortly. Let's start in South Georgia, though. This is Thomasville. Main routes looking pretty clear. 319, 3519, all green. Checking Valdosta, the downtown area showed some congestion about 30 minutes ago. That has since cleared. Also green right now, 75 Madison Highway and 41. And now to the capital city where the fog has made its way in. You certainly will want to use those low beams, not the high beams. Give yourself a few extra minutes as you head out of the door. Of course, it is cold too, so you will want to let your car warm up. 61 showing some congestions around the 4 Points area. Capitol Circle Southeast slowdowns there as well. Good news, Blairstone Road and 263 are green at the moment. That's a check of your traffic for right now.
We here on Sunrise are getting you in the holiday spirit. We're talking about two major events coming up. Soul Santa will be visiting the Laverne Payne Community Center Friday and the Walker Ford Community Center on Saturday to bring holiday cheer and to deliver special gifts for kids up to age 10. Elf Night is also coming up and will be held next Thursday night at Dorothy B. Oven Park. And organizers say the park will be transformed to a winter wonderland with over 250,000 lights strung up. And kids will have a chance to sit with Santa and Mrs. Claus. We have all the details on our website, WTXL.tv.
So to come for you this morning, a desperate search through the woods to find these 4 lost children. Now over the road, 2 strangers and their boat played to bring those kids to safety.
Here's a look at your Mega Millions numbers as the jackpot continues to rise. It's currently at $191 million. The next drawing Friday right here before your news at 11. And your Fantasy 5 and Lucky Money numbers. Good luck.
Good morning. It is 6:45 happening today. The Wakulla County Board of Commissioners set to meet. The focus today, hearing input from citizens on next year's Recreational Trails program. That's a grant application. It's all for Wooley Park in Panacea. That meeting is set to begin today at 3 at the Welcome Center in Wakulla on Coastal Highway in Panacea.
The Leon County School Board is holding a public meeting today. A few items on the agenda: discussions on the 2017-2018 student progression plan, approval for the Oak Ridge Elementary pre-K playground project, and plans to provide homeless students transportation. The meeting begins at 6 p.m. at the Aquilina C. Howell Instructional Services Center on West Pensacola Street. All right, let's take a peek outside.
The southeast still rather quiet across the country this morning. There is a cold front. It's not really the strongest front. It's just this tail of clouds extending from one of those fast-moving clipper systems, bringing snow to the northeast as I speak. But it is carrying a cold front, and behind it, another influence of some polar air. And that's what we're going to be feeling over the next couple of days. Some colder mornings, even though, yes, this morning's still quite chilly outside. So here's the positioning of the front earlier this morning. As it drives on through, winds out of the north and west-northwest will start to build in, allowing for that clear and chilly influence of the overall air mass in place. So still expecting mainly sunny skies, perhaps a few clouds today and tomorrow. But the overall trend, quiet weather, but also cold out there. Colder than average continuing through Wednesday, through Thursday morning before another warm up and then another cool down. We'll be going through these episodically. Every 2 to 3 days, it seems, we'll have a warmer spell and then a colder spell. All right, now, not expecting much in terms of any rain through Thursday, though, so that's great news. But for Friday, one of those episodic fronts I've been mentioning, well, it could bring a few showers. Mainly cloudy skies expected then. Not expecting a washout, though, for your evening plans. So anything you have planned for Friday, don't worry. I think we'll be in the clear, especially for Saturday and Sunday. Partly cloudy skies, but take a look. Notice the temperatures warming up because of another front expected by then. We'll have another look at your full 7-day outlook in just a few minutes.
All right, Alex, how's this for some good news? A group of children are now safely back with their families after being lost in the woods. 4 children were camping with their families at some campgrounds on Saturday in Citrus County when they disappeared. Just look at their faces. Police, I should say, were called to begin a search. But that's when these 2 from Central Florida, the Olsons, sprang into action. They used their own boat to search for those children.
My girlfriend wanted to go look for them, so we ended up going out and looking for them. We got there and we were going to start pulling the boat through the shallow water. As soon as we shut the engine off, the kids started yelling for us.
The family says they found the kids within 15 minutes of launching their boat. 3 of the children suffered from hypothermia. They've been missing for just over 4 hours.
Senate President Joe Negron says he's open to the concept of a constitutional amendment that would make it harder for the legislature to raise taxes. Negron says the Senate is working on a measure that will be similar to Governor Rick Scott's proposal to amend the state constitution, requiring 2/3 votes by the legislature before raising taxes or fees or creating new ones. In August, Governor Scott called for a constitutional amendment that would require a, quote, supermajority vote before raising taxes and fees, which now can be created or raised by simple majority votes in the state House and Senate.
Well, tallies for the runoff election in the Atlanta mayoral race are official, but with a razor-thin margin remaining, Mary Norwood, who lost, says she plans to ask for another recount. Election officials in Fulton and DeKalb counties, which include parts of Atlanta in both, they both certified their election results. The official combined tally was 92,502. Keisha Lance Bottoms remains in the lead with 50.45%. Mary Norwood with 49.55%. The 832 votes that separate them amount to less than 1% of the total. Norwood has less than 48 hours to request a recount. She told reporters she'll likely do that today. Elections officials in both counties have said they could probably have a recount done by the end of this week.
Students in Dougherty County will see improvements in technology in the classroom thanks to One Georgia Authority. At last night's school board meeting, Dougherty County schools were presented with a check for $900,000 to use for technology in the classroom. J.D. Sumner with Dougherty County Schools says they are a 1-to-1 school district, which means every student has devices they can use to support classroom instruction. They have found using technology enhances the way students learn today.
Well, the top headlines you need to know this Tuesday in just 3 minutes.
And do you know someone making a difference in our community? We want to know. Send in your nominations to ABC 27 News at WTXL.tv. Florida A&M University gearing up to formally present its new head football coach, Willie Simmons.
Making now both university head football coaches in Tallahassee named Willie. Willie Taggart at Florida State, Willie Simmons at FAMU. And the latter, Simmons, he's a local guy, graduating from Quincy Shanks. He comes all the way from Texas, Prairie View A&M University, where he spent the last 3 seasons as head football coach with a record of 21-11. He'll be FAMU's 18th head football coach. That university will hold an official press conference this morning at 11 at the Al Lawson Center. Of course, we will be there.
Thomasville City Council members are calling for the city manager, Steve Skykes, to resign. Last night at the council meeting, members voted unanimously to offer Skykes, who serves as the city manager and utilities superintendent, a severance package contingent upon his resignation. Todd Thomas, the senior assistant city manager, was named interim city manager January 1st.
The man arrested back in July for a shooting that hurt a 17-month-old baby will be in a Leon County courtroom this morning. Police arrested Bradell Tyson back in July for that shooting at the Sunrise Place Apartments. He faces a number of charges, including 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Tyson is set to be in that Leon County courtroom this morning at 9. 6:55, checking in with Alex now.
All right, the extended outlook today, well, it starts off with temperatures generally in the lower 60s, mainly sunny skies with only a few clouds. But again, not really expecting any sort of change visually with the front that's supposed to pass on later on today. You will feel it, though, as temperatures are expected to drop back to the lower 30s, widespread across the Big Bend and South Georgia tonight. Of course, that'll likely mean the onset of frost and perhaps another set of freeze warnings. We're already seeing a freeze watch for eastern counties, so there is that increased possibility. Heading into Wednesday, well, of course, temperatures will be cooler than average and even colder than today due to the influence of that front. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s. Then we'll warm back up before another front on Friday. Cools our morning lows back to the 30s. We'll warm back up again, and we'll have this somewhat bumpy pattern, but again, not bumpy in terms of any rough weather, just bumpy with following the hill, if you will. Highs and lows, but generally staying below average.
And today officially marks the beginning of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
December 12th, for 8 days through December 20th, is the celebration. It's a Jewish holiday.
Yeah, the Festival of Lights. Of course, you light your menorah,
right?
Special prayers, and I would think my favorite part, if I were Jewish, fried foods.
All the food.
Yes. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning.
Join us back here same time tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.